Good morning, church. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Pine Valley Christian Church. Welcome everybody that's watching online. I hope everyone's enjoying the cool weather. Isn't it wonderful? Oh, such a blessing for it to be August. Welcome to Pine Valley. I want to first off say happy birthday to Connie. Today's her birthday. She's of legal age today. Any news of the community? We have Camp Tawakoni's 20th birthday anniversary. Do you want to speak on that, Dave?
It's a little late, but this is coming Saturday. We're celebrating 20 years at Camp Tawakoni. And there's a celebration. It's an all-day celebration on Saturday. Starts at 8:30 with coming in and getting registered or just letting us know you're there. But come at 8:30, 8:30 to 9 or sometime after, there'll be cinnamon rolls and bacon. And if you ever had any of Kim's cinnamon rolls, you know they are good, and the bacon is excellent. So it's an incentive to come out. There's also a free lunch and a free dinner in the evening. And it's a come and go. If you don't want to stay all day, you don't have to. You can come in whenever, leave whenever. But they would like to have a head count. If you think you might go, if you could let me know, then I'll pass it on. And yeah, it's all free. And there'll be swimming, archery, lakefront, campfire in the evening time. So they got a full day planned.
Thank you. Anyone else have any news for the community? Okay, Connie.
Well, last week I talked to you about the book study. We're going to be starting in September. We'll be doing it 3 weeks in September. The name of the book is Breakthrough by Don Weeks, W-E-A-K-S. And your search committee, your ministerial search committee is leading this. We're going to be ordering books this week. So if you think you are going to continue journeying with Pine Valley as we move forward, we really encourage you to read the book. If you want us to order you one, I need your name on the list today because we'll be calling in the order this week so that hopefully we have them way before the time that we start in September. So see me after church if you want a book. The cost is $11.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, let's do call to worship. If everyone would say it with me. Maybe. There we go. Creator God, you made us all people in every land. It is our responsibility to give thanks and respect to those who first occupied this land. We give thanks to the Kamsa, the Wichita, the Osage, and other nations, the first people of this land. We offer our respect for those ancestors who made they are thankful for gifts of the people of the land. With thankful and respectful ears, we worship your name, your Son, the Peacemaker, and the Sacred Spirit. Amen.
Renew your church, its ministries restore, both to serve and adore, mid somber shadows of the night where greed and hatred spread their blight. Oh, send us forward with power endued. Help us be renewed. Teach us to love with strength of heart and mind, everyone, all humankind. And I think what's coming next, special music, should put us in the right mood. several examples which illustrate this passion. Many Indians believe the top layers of earth contain their ancestors' souls. Curly, a Crow Indian, said, "The land as it is my blood and my dead, and I do not want to give up any portion of it." Indians believe the earth is alive and everything related to it is also alive. Early features are holy places for Indians. Natural features are like shrines that honor their past. Some wise person, whom I don't know, said a society cannot remember and honor its past is in peril of losing its soul. Monuments to past events are important. DeLorean points out that Indians having a longer tenure on this continent have more sacred places than non-Indians. Go figure. Most monuments created by white people seem to be dedicated to war. Indians, according to DeLorean, do not see war as a holy enterprise. Although DeLorean uses the word God in his book title, almost all the references to a higher power in Indian speeches that I've read refer to the Great Spirit. More on that later. DeLorean states that in the past, tribal religions had no religious controversy in their communities. Everyone shared a common historical experience, and cultural identity was not separated into religious, economic, sociological, political, and military spheres. It was never a case of having to believe in certain things to sustain a tribal religion. A Delaware chief complained about a massacre in 1782 when 90 Christian Indians had been killed by whites because 2 Indians, not of the group, had injured a white man some miles from the settlement. Maribeth is going to speak to this Delaware chief.
In reference to those whites who massacred the Indians, these white men would always be telling us of their great book, which God had given them. They would persuade us that every man was bad who did not believe in it. They told us a great many things which they said were written in the book and wanted us to believe it. We would likely have done so if we had seen them practice what they pretended to believe. We would likely have not done so. But no, while they held the big book in one hand, in the other hand held murderous weapons, guns and swords, wherewith to kill us poor Indians. And they did too. They killed those that believed in their book as well as those that did not. They made no distinctions.
Chief Joseph once met a U.S. commission that wanted him to cede the Wallowa Valley in Oregon, which the Nez Perce owned. He was asked why the Nez Perce had banned missionaries from their lands. Carmen will tell us. Chief Joseph.
They will teach us to quarrel about God, as Catholics and Protestants do on the Nez Perce reservations. We do not want to do that. We may quarrel with men sometimes about things on earth, but we never quarrel about the Great Spirit. We do not want to learn that. Red Jacket, a great Seneca warrior, had this to say to an evangelical missionary bent on converting the Iroquois. You say there is but one way to worship and serve the Great Spirit. If there is but religion, why do white people differ so much about it? Why do you not all agree, as you can all read the book?
Just in case you haven't heard enough from Indian complaints about white man's religious hypocrisy, Old Tassel, a famous 18th century Cherokee leader, had this to say.
Much has been said of the want of what you term civilization among the Indians. Many proposals to accept your laws, your religions, your manner, and your customs. We do not see the propriety of such a reformation. We should be better pleased with beholding the good effects of these doctrines in your own practices than with hearing you talk about them, or of reading your newspapers on such subjects.
The conception of the community is paramount among traditional Indians. DeLorean relates, no Indian will reject a tribal member as not belonging to the tribe. He may be attacked for many reasons, but never disclaimed as a tribal member. One always belongs in the community. DeLorean's statement reminds me of an account by George Catlin. He's the best painter of Indians, in my opinion, and he's remarkable. If anybody wants to borrow my book, it's amazing. Catlin spent considerable time painting and getting to know many tribes, especially the Mandan culture. He told of a conflict between two Mandan chiefs, Na-ta-ta-nuk-muk, the wolf chief, and Ma-to-topa, 4 bears, who despised one another. Nevertheless, neither accused the other of not being equal members of the tribe. The conception of the community gives the tribe an edge on Christianity, according to DeLorean. While each tribe has their own creation stories and legends, no tribe makes a pretense that their religion is the true religion. DeLorean states that Christian and other religions that base their belief on a sense of time and chronological order are incompatible with Indian religion. For example, if Christians and Jews are stuck with the assertion that the account of Genesis is an actual historical recording, then every event that follows is stuck with the narrative. DeLorean's argument about the Western culture's dependence on time and chronological order being antithetical with spirituality is complicated. Frankly, I don't understand it well enough to explain it. I am wholly dependent upon chronological order. That's the way things seem to happen. My argument with DeLorean is that he seems to think that all Christians have to take the Bible literally, that every account is an historical event. The phrase that Reverend David Hanson has said, the Bible is not an historical event, it's not a historical account. It is the story of a relationship with God. Reverend Bill Reese said of Pine Valley, we don't take the Bible literally, we take the Bible seriously. If we take this stance, which I do, then we're free to understand our biblical Christian and Jewish accounts are not literal, and recognize that what's important are the moral lessons and ethical choices that stories illustrate. This comports with DeLorean's belief in the validity of Indian legends. We seem stuck with the word God. I will continue to use it, if only for convention. For me, the question is not who God is, but what God is. I am certain it's not the guy on the top of the Sistine Chapel. Perceiving God as only male or female, for that matter, seems ridiculous to me. I think God is a spirit. One of our Pine Valley youths once asked me, how can a spirit have a gender? I had an answer for him. It's a great question. Indians use the term Great Spirit represents my belief in the identity of the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit is full of mystery. How does that song go? Those that love the mystery will renew their strength. I mentioned 2 weeks ago that Connie and I attended several weeks of a lifelong learning class about the Indian tribes in Kansas. In one session, I'll call her Mary, a presenter and member of the Kaw tribe, brought up in the white world in southeastern Kansas. She spoke about her transition to Indian ways. She mentioned that she had been brought up as a Catholic. When questions were welcomed, inspired my inspiration having read God is Red, I asked, if you were brought up as a Catholic, how do you reconcile your Catholic belief with your Indian religious belief? She seemed gobsmacked by the question. It seems to me, after a series of stutters, she finally said, I don't practice the Catholic religion anymore. Seems to me that she is getting something spiritual from her Indian community that is lacking in the white part of her world. I assure you there are many Indian religious practices that I cannot embrace, such as the traditional Mandan religious torture ceremonies. But I've come to believe that many elements of Indian religious thinking seem right to me. These are a few. The concept of the Great Spirit. Natural formations are monuments dedicated to the Great Spirit. The earth is alive and everything related to it is also alive. We believe our legends and stories. We respect yours, even if you don't respect ours. Our creation stories and legends may not have literally happened, but what's important is what our moral and ethical choices illustrate. Whether I like you or not, you are a member of the tribal community. There are no outsiders or outcasts in the tribe. Indians do not see war as a holy enterprise. One does not have to believe certain things in order to have a spiritual experience. There is no one true religion, although I really like mine. With regard to the land, is there anything more important than the condition of our planet? Which population, Western or Indian, has been better for the land? 2 weeks ago, I mentioned Tinker and Osage and Cherokee, who made a presentation at Phillips Theological Seminary, which Connie and I attended. Tink concluded his presentation with a resounding critique of Western white man's treatment of the land. In effect, he said, we Indians didn't cause our polluted land. The earth is in trouble, and you white folks better do something about it. In case you think our government's land grab is a thing of the past, it's not. In our recent trip on the Snake and Columbia Rivers, I encountered a museum display titled, This is Our Place, entreating the viewer to support the cause of Cathlamet, Clatsop, Lower Chinook, Wakukum, and Willapa tribes. I apologize to the Native Americans for that, or Indians for that. They said during 2 separate treaty negotiations, we refused the federal government's terms and stayed with the bones of our ancestors. This decision sacrificed federal recognition, but preserved our deep connection to our place. This is currently happening. Why have you patient people been made to experience this presentation? Because it was my turn to make a presentation. I struggled with the God is Red book, and I wanted to talk about it. There are other reasons. Indians are all around us. Some are finding traditional Indian religious belief to be more meaningful. We should know that and respect that. This process has challenged me to contemplate my own religious beliefs. Maybe this will help you process your own religious belief. I'll close with two thoughts from Vine DeLorean. Being guilty for remote sins is easy. Accepting responsibility for current and future sins is difficult. It is the contemporary attitude toward Aboriginal people that must be changed rather than compensate for past wrongs. The lands of this planet call to humankind for redemption, but is a redemption of sanity, not supernatural reclamation project at the end of history. I'm done. This is our song. Yeah. So, let's sing it.
We come to the time in our service this morning for the sharing of prayer concerns. Does anyone have a concern they'd like to share? Yes, Karen?
I want to echo Billy's, it's like a comment about the lovely weather we are having. I am so overjoyed to see Barb Helmpau here today. It's such a blessing to see her. It's like when she's here. And I'm so overjoyed to see David Hanson and Sally Hanson here today, too.
So appreciate the people that are here today. Thank you, Karen.
I have two things to bring. Our oldest son, Maya, is going to have a insulin pump, and he goes to training for that next week. And it's a mixed blessing. It's not good that you're at that point, but at the other end it's going to help. So I ask for prayers for him. I also have a friend that is 54 years old and has advanced cancer. They only give him a few months to live, and he just found out about it. So I ask blessings for Shane.
We ask for prayers for Barb's son, Maya, and are thankful for medical advances that can help him, and also for your son, or for your friend who's recently diagnosed with cancer.
Continued prayers for Sierra as she goes through this pregnancy. She is sick as a dog and having to be and have fluids like 3 times a week for 2 hours. So it's going to be a girl. We just know it's going to be a girl.
So prayers for Sierra's pregnancy and her health during this.
Well, school begins tomorrow. All I can say is pray for me.
Prayers for study skills and rest and some relaxation in there. Okay? For Joe. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When finals are over. Does anyone else have a concern? Dave?
This, for quite a while, I have been thinking and pondering inclusion. And I have seen some of our Christian brothers and churches have opened up to more inclusion. So that's encouraging, but I just pray that the world will eventually understand that inclusion is good.
And Dave prays for inclusion, and as Phil said, that we're all members of the same tribe. So that we can understand that.
Morning. I'd just like to lift up Ukraine and all Ukrainians. Today's their day of independence, so pray that they can find peace soon.
And prayers for the people of Ukraine. Any other prayer concerns? Please join me in prayer. Creator God, thank you so much that we're able to gather together. Please bless the people who were named today for their prayer concerns and the people that offered the concerns because they're impacted too. Thank you for this loving, caring group, and help us to carry this love and care outside these walls. In your name, amen.
Thanks. I don't know if you've noticed this image, this statue, pre-Columbian art. And to me, it's amazing. Pre-Columbian art. Whoops. Thanks. Imagine way back before Christianity was even thought of, probably these folks never heard of Judaism or any other religion that we know of, but they knew their religion, whatever it was. And if this doesn't speak of fellowship and communion, I don't know what does. More than likely, from the images, they're all male. I'm happy to say that we've gone beyond just understanding males. Okay, if you're going to be that way. Okay, would you please join me in what we're calling the Lord's Prayer? O most compassionate life-giver, may we honor and praise you. May we work with you to establish a new order of justice, peace, and love. Give us what we need for growth, and help us through forgiving others to accept forgiveness. Strengthen us in the time of testing, that we may resist all evil. For all tenderness, strength, and love are yours, now and forever. We celebrate the communion by intinction, and some smart person, in my opinion they're smart, thought it would be a good idea for us to form in a circle and provide communion for one another.